He is in the building. Superstar, now author of Adversity for Sale, but as we know him as the trap star, Thug Motivation 101, and he is here to lace us all with some new game, the one and only Jeezy in the building.
What up, though? What's happening? What's happening?
Now, Jeezy, I just got to say this. I just got to set the table. You have some huge fans in the building, and when I say
where? Because it was calm when I walked in.
Right?
She said, "I am nervous."
She it's gonna be a spot when she get up from that chair. I'm just saying,
Oh my God!
First of all, but even before we get there, my younger brother over here, my daddy's son, Javen Cannon, is a huge Jeezy
That's
fan.
what's up, man. Shout out, bro.
Yeah. So you got the real ones. Yeah, he's excited that you like the song choice that he put together.
Yeah, he in his bag.
Yeah. On a Freaky Friday, whatever, wherever. But probably the biggest Jeezy fan in the building. It's been she giggling, she covered her mouth since yesterday.
This is crazy. I just think it's crazy. How you doing?
How you doing, sweetheart?
Courtney B.
What's up, Courtney?
Yeah. Yo,
Listen, I'm from Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
That says it all.
That says it all. The city fuck with you. That
says it all.
I couldn't. He said you was coming, and I was like,
she jumped out her seat,
jumped out,
throwing shit
because it's amazing.
She has not had that reaction for anyone else.
Nobody.
Yeah, that Detroit love is real.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta
amazing
tell you that.
to be sitting across from you.
Likewise, I received that.
But I see it. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I mean that's Jeezy.
Jeezy, dog. That's the Snowman. I mean, I would love to do like
y'all
like
calm down. The
all
man is
your
taking.
I would love to sing.
Relax.
Corporate
Like to
thugging. I would love that.
But we have to say Jeezy, and then he's here to talk about Adversity for Sale's new book that'll be available everywhere in August. Jeezy, you definitely. I don't even want because a man. It sounds weird saying a man had a glow up. But he had elevation like I've never seen in hip hop.
Yeah.
To where it's like straight trapping.
Right.
To grown man.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even I probably last time you and I. Well, now I've interviewed you several times. But probably the first time I interviewed you, it was me, you, Trey Songz, and Jay-Z.
Yep.
In New York.
Yep.
And that's when you were going on tour with Jay.
Yep.
And you were still in it. You was still thugging.
I was probably smelling like a pound of weed.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's Cuban cigars, but that was going on.
So I mean, tell me about this elevation, man. You've had a journey like no other, like straight from it.
Right.
Like just really that everything you rapped about.
Well, so I think so it's in the book also as well because I talk about my humble beginnings. I don't think a lot of people knew that when I was younger, my father was in the military, right? So I lived in Japan, Hawaii, all these different places when I was young.
Military,
Hawaii. I
baby.
mean, that's where I was born.
Yeah.
That was Navy.
And so what it was, when my parents got divorced, I had to go back to the hood.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a culture shock. I had been there before, but now it's like I'm back in it. And then my mom and dad separated, so it was just me, my mom, and my sister. We live in a 2-bedroom trailer about the size of this room.
Wow.
All three of us. So my journey was to get back to what I knew because my palate was different. I was eating sushi over there. I was on beaches.
Right.
I come back to the hood. I'm like, yo, there's beaches. They're like, man, what in the hell are you talking about? Because nobody ever saw that. So I had the best of both worlds, meaning that I knew that there was something out there that was bigger than my surroundings. And I was trying to convince the people around me that it was out there. So my pursuit to get back to that, and which is a reason why I love traveling so much, is because, when you're in the hood, that's all you see.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't get a chance to have those experiences. So I always saw myself, clean cut, 3-piece suit, plain Jane watch, wedding band.
Yeah.
Just a real, just debonair guy, but I was a long way from that. I was still in Dickie suits.
Yeah.
Chuck Taylor.
Yeah.
And so my mission was to get back to that because that's what I saw as being a strong black man and as being respected. And which is one of the reasons why I really dived into real estate when I got a chance because we never had shit.
Yeah.
So now it's like I want to own that. And why I dived into business because everybody that was around me was working factory jobs.
Right.
And that was the biggest thing you could have. You talking about $5-6 an hour, right? And that was the biggest thing. And by the time the check come, it's already all gone. right?
Yeah.
So that's how I was living, and I just knew that there was a different life out there, and that's what I was trying to get back to. So what you see now is me in a place of peace, because I'm finally where I got freedom. I can travel. I got, good friends. I got hobbies. Like where we come from, you can't tell somebody you got hobbies.
Fact.
You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just in a different space, and I'm like, what I had to, and one thing I knew early on is that, music wasn't a talent yet, but it was something that I loved because I learned through music. I learned through the Jay-Z's, the Tupacs, love Pac, by the way, Tupacs, the Master P's, because that's where I was getting the information from, because I didn't have any big homies. Like, they was doing dumb shit too, so it didn't really matter, right? So they didn't have any values or any morals, so this is where I was getting it from, the music. And then when I got in the place, I was like, well, if I do the music, right, then I could be that guy. I can have a message, and I can go out here and because the thing was, I knew music was going to be the vessel to get me to business, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to walk straight from the streets into a boardroom.
Right.
It wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So music was the vehicle, and that's what made it, that's what made it real for me, because I was talking about what I was doing in the streets. It resonated. It became successful, but then music was my talent. But business was my passion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All types of, hey, Jeezy do anything for profit.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But I mean, and you did it in such a amazing way, man. I mean,
I received that, brother.
Like I've witnessed it. Like I was just in Miami, and I remember it was I remember there was a club that you came through one night. It was straight first album, and they played the whole album that night.
Yeah.
And it was definitely during them days. It was it wasn't even a strip club, but money was flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was I don't think I've ever witnessed a project like the Thug Motivation, and just like where not only did you have the streets on Smash, you had the clubs on Smash. Like it was just the soundtrack to an era.
Of
and
what
as
was going on.
Yeah, and we even we saw we're getting to see the backstory of Detroit and BMF and all of that type of. Are they gonna have, or do you know? Are they gonna have like a Jeezy character? Are they gonna get to that element in it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't even tapped in like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
You have influenced the city so much.
Right.
Like, the city shut down when you come to town.
But the craziest thing is Detroit influenced me.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You feel what I'm saying? Because I ain't never seen that. When I started going, that was my first time going to Detroit to do a show. Rest in peace, Shakir Stewart.
Yeah, that's my
We
man.
had this show, and I was staying downtown, and the club was like maybe 5 minutes from the hotel, and I got there, it was snowing.
Snowman.
Right. I got there, it was snowing. I remember like yesterday, Shakir showed up in this trench coat chinchilla fur. Right, everybody had furs on.
Yeah.
And this is my first time being in Detroit, like being in
the
Detroit,
city.
right?
Yeah.
And when I got downstairs, it was like 300 homies down there. Everybody all blacked up, fur coats, and I'm looking like, I gotta get on stage in 10 minutes, right? We ain't gonna be able to get everybody in cars. I'm like, fuck it, let's just walk.
Oh,
so we
wow.
just walked to the club, and you just saw this big cloud of just black tees and furs and diamond chains walking to the club.
Yeah, and that because I know you're talking. What's the name of that hotel? Because there's only one hotel.
It's not Pontchartrain. It's
that's
a
connected to the casino, right?
No. This one, the one you talking about, I think is the MGM. This one is it's like a historic hotels downtown.
Not Pontchartrain.
Yeah, but it's like
Detroit
like right
is
in the
just
middle.
everybody. It's small enough to where you can't do that.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
where you could just mob down the
Right,
street with
right.
all your guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was you performing? Like St. Andrews?
No, this was a club. This was like one of those small. I think it was like I think Trick had something to do with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
shouts
okay.
out to
You know what I'm
Trick.
saying?
Okay.
It was like
Yeah.
a small, but it was one of the craziest shows I ever had.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say the city influenced me because when I would go back, I would just see things like in people, like, because they treat me like one of their
They
own.
do.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the
We work
kids,
with you.
the mothers, the grandmothers,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
I can
Like
come
you
over-
from the city.
Right.
We be like, what? Jeezy in town. Whole city come
I'm
out.
talking about it's crazy. And every time I went to Detroit, I get off the plane, jet, whatever it is. It's a police escort everywhere I go, to and fro. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you some stories about Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? And but what I started to realize is it was a lot, because I respect values and morals, right? I started to see a lot of things in them that I didn't see coming up where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Like just the loyalty, just how they handled certain situations, how they could be, one of the, Detroit was bankrupt at one time, the whole city.
Yeah.
But you probably got more millionaires, self-made millionaires from Detroit than anywhere else in the world. Like, I ain't talking about like the ones that you see on Forbes. I'm talking about the ones in the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we witnessed that, man. I mean, and it's funny, like you always talk about growth and elevation, and even it's so interesting because all of your songs, even the ones about trapping, is about you could do it yourself, get it out the mud, jump off the porch with it, and we've witnessed it, man, and it's a blessing because normally you get to see everybody talking that talk and talking, all of the rap shit, but you don't see the true elevation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a few dudes that we have got to witness to go really from it and then take it and say, okay, as I do away with those old ways that I'm a grown man now. We see that. We get to see that with Jay, obviously. I mean, we've seen that with T.I. We've seen that with Rose. And so many people where you can actually say, oh, he lived the life for real. And then now he's transitioned.
Right.
And is a completely different individual. It's a story I remember. I was, and I always take as one of my proud Jeezy stories. Cause I think it was Baseline at the time. I was at Baseline with Jay-Z. And I would, DJing and stuff, and I was going through my music. We was in the studio, and I had just got the They Know remix.
Shout out to Sody Low.
R.I.P.
Yes,
and
sir.
I played it for Jay the first time, and he was like, "Jeezy's in his bag."
Yeah.
He was like,
It was a moment.
He's like, because first of all, I'm pretty sure that's not out. Is that my favorite Jeezy verse? That was you.
That's one of mine.
It's
one of mine.
Hello.
It's definitely one of mine.
Ladies, how you doing?
And that's so but we saw the elevation. It was like, oh, Jeezy, he rapping different.
Yeah.
Right? And Jay-Z said it. He was like, oh yeah, no, he's here.
Right.
He was like that.
Arrived.
He's finally arrived. Like he was a good rapper,
Right.
but this is a superstar version. And to hear that from Hove, and I played it for Hove for the first time.
Right.
And he was like, oh yeah. He's here. And then I feel like not long after that, you and Hove got on that, which is my favorite record. Go Crazy.
Oh, Go Crazy.
That to me is my favorite Jeezy song.
Yo, so to add on it, I don't think I put this in the book though. I'm with Hove and B, and we're in Miami. We're having dinner, and Hove get up to talk to somebody, and B looks at me. She goes, "Hey, that I'm gonna do me record in the Shorty Low record, biggest thing you ever done."
Oh wow!
I said, "How so?" She's like, "You just showed everybody what was up."
Yeah,
those were the biggest. She's like, "That's the smartest move I ever seen you make."
Yeah,
I never understood that.
Yeah,
right? And over time, I started to understand those were records in that time frame that was so significant, and I just happened to be on them and do some of my best work. Yeah. But when Beyonce said that to me, I'm just like, yo.
Nah, that's real. I mean, and I think
first of all, I wanted to be like, how the hell you listen to that?
I know.
That's the thing. You had the girliest girls, right? The girliest girls in heels, and we in the club like, Jeezy on the dope.
Yeah.
I mean, it just turned us into different people. We thought we were in the trap too.
Yeah.
No, but it was crazy because a lot of in the beginning of my career, all I had was criminals, that would be in front row.
Yeah,
right.
All the drug dealers, all the hustlers, all the robbers, all the jackers, and it wasn't until the recession that, because for a long time I had survivor's remorse, right? Yeah. So I couldn't fathom the fact that I was in this position and people I wanted to help, we just couldn't figure it out. Right. So it was a lot of resentment on their end, and there was a lot of frustration on mine, right? And I was drinking crazy. I'm at Cristal, Waffle House all day. I'm 260. You know what I'm saying? 5'8". And then right around the recession, I just had this shift where I was just like, you know what, man, let me just understand what's going on. I started reading books, YouTube and stuff, and I started figuring out how to take care of myself. So I was drinking water because I would see myself on TV. I see my skin bad. I'm like, damn. You know, I'm standing next to Tip. He looked like he glowing.
Yeah.
So then I started to get myself together, and I dropped like 60 pounds on my own.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wow.
And going into the recession, and I had put all my cars up, all my jewelry, and I was just really focused on this project. And I remember like yesterday, my first show was in Boston when the recession came out, and it was at the I forget is a venue that's worldwide, and I go there and I come out and I'm doing the intro, and by the time I'm done with the intro, I look on and I see people throwing stuff. I'm looking back at my guys like, yo, y'all letting them throw stuff at me? And he's like, look. I look down, it was all bras and shit. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, uh-oh, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm slim now. I'm in shape, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, this is different, you know what I'm saying? So from that point on, I was like, yo, I got to stick with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to eat right.
This
I'm
water
going to drink
is
plenty of
doing
water.
really well. Hydrate me.
Right. So it happened, and that's when I, you know, because I always been on a path of evolution, but I started to really see that, like, if you put the work in, there's results there, right?
Yeah.
There's fulfillment there outside of what we know. Because, you know, where we come from, you buy a bunch of cars, you know, you get a bunch of chains. That's how you show.
That's success.
Right, that's success. But then I started to see there's another side of success that has nothing to do with anything on the outside. It's all about you. And when I started to notice that, I just stayed on my path of evolution, because I'm just like, yo, what if I was the smartest street guy that's in these rooms with these corporate guys? What if I did have friends like T.D. Jakes and Steve Harvey and John Maxwell, you know what I mean, and Tony Robbins? Like, what if I could go here and do that? And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm going to just do it. And that was my mission, to show cats where we from, that you can't just let them box you in because of how you started. You see what I'm saying? Because if you just go, like, I couldn't grow up and tell my daughter I'm just a great rapper. That's crazy.
Right.
And I didn't even start off that way. I didn't want to really rap. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get to the business. But now what you're seeing at this point is me being in a place where I'm comfortable with doing what I feel like is best for me and mine. Right. And I ain't really worried about what nobody else got to say, because at the end of the day, when I was drinking Cristal every day and eating chicken wings, and I was around here almost about to die, ain't nobody care. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As soon as I got on my path, and this crazy thing, as soon as I got on my path, I started seeing, you know, people that I thought I was really cool with kind of stray away. Because that didn't serve them anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you going to the gym again? You crazy? I'm like, yeah. Like, you know, you getting up, you know, you eating the right foods, and you know, and it's crazy. You walk on a tour bus and you see Jeezy with a book in his hand. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you start going through these things where, you know, people start seeing you change. And what I really loved about it's the transformation is that the more people left, the more quality people came in. Right? And they was able to help guide me through, you know, things I didn't quite understand. You know what I'm saying? Because now I got to, you know, like my man say, only quality people.
Yeah.
Right.
So now I got people around me that are trying to help more so than take away.
Quality versus quantity, right?
Right. And now I'm understanding that.
I've seen you do it so beautifully, man. Like, because we, you know, you're in the public eye, and you, like you said, when you come from it, when you get it out the mud, everybody is proud of you, but it's also there's always gonna be some resentment.
Correct.
But you've handled it in such a way to where you still you. You know what I mean? Like, you still like you, and I'm sure, you know, like we're learning from you, because we're like, man, to watch a brother come from it to having an entourage. I've been in the rooms with Jeezy, and it'd be 60 niggas,
not black men, niggas.
It'd be 60 niggas, and I mean, it's all love. It's a good time, and it's like, yo, he put on for you,
Right.
But then to now see the elevation where I'm pretty sure, you know, all of those dudes are still proud of you, but it's like you just move different, and even those times where it's like, oh, well, Jeezy ain't the same, or it's like, no, he's elevated. You're supposed to change. You're not supposed to stay the same.
But the craziest thing is, you know, just again coming from where we come from, people want you to be, you know, the old you, so they feel comfortable with being them, right? And it's such a fascinating thing, because you would think, right, that you will want somebody to evolve. So that gives you more resources. That gives you more access to things, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, and I used to be that. I used to go around Jay-Z with 100 people. He like, yo, my man. And it's 100 different ones in the last 100 I see. I spoke to them. Right. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, you know, but me, you know, I'm trying to show love. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, but what I learned is like, you know, if I got a scholarship right now and I went pro, I can't take everybody on the field with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can put people in position, and I'm not upset that people might look at it like you changed, but I know for my kids and for my legacy, when I'm gone, they're gonna say my dad was a great man. He took risk. He didn't care. He stood on that. Because the thing I love about it, and I'm never going, they ain't gonna never forget. Oh, they know if that switch get clicked, I'm gangsters I need to be. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no games. We all came from the same place. It's like being a boxer. You know what I'm saying? You're golden gloves. You're a golden glove. So that's it.
When you certify, you ain't got to pretend like it.
Right.
So, I mean, and I always found this interesting. We talked about this before, and is it still this way? And are you going to do this with the book? I know every project you will reward yourself or gift yourself with buying real estate or a piece of property.
Absolutely. Right now. Shout out to Tony. He putting it together right now. I'm waiting on send the paper so I can sign it. I just bought another family unit. I think it's about 16 to 20 units in there. Wow. You know what I'm saying? But that's because Adversity for Sale is done. It's on Nick Cannon's desk.
Yeah, congratulations.
I gotta award myself for that. You know, and I love that because to me, and this is I'm gonna tell you the craziest thing. Right? This is gonna sound crazy. The one thing I love about real estate is that it feels so much like my old life. You buying bricks and you getting money. It's just like, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, oh, I can buy that and it's mine and it's a cash flowing asset.
And you can flip it if you want to.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it truly is. That's the thing.
It's crazy.
The beauty of business, man. Like that's why I said some of the illest drug dealers I ever seen are some of the most brilliant businessmen.
Yes.
Because it's just innately in them.
Right.
And it's a different product.
Right. Yeah.
And I heard this before, and I'm pretty sure it is true that you're one of the biggest real estate moguls in Atlanta where commercial and just. So what is it like? What are some of your real estate secrets? How do you know what to buy, what to invest in?
Oh man, it's so crazy. I just feel like I got a knack for it because I can look at something and just understand it. But one thing I learned early on is that I'm a long-term guy. So a lot of people like to buy stuff and flip it, right? Yeah. I'd rather buy a building that's gonna appreciate in value, but at the same time be a cash flowing asset. That's how I look at it. Mm-hmm. Like if I buy this and then like say for instance, even if I buy something and I'm breaking even on the cash flow, right? I know in 5 years it's gonna be damn near paid off, right? 5 to 8 years it's gonna be damn near paid off. So that means whatever I spent for that building, the equity is there, right? If I want to go and turn around and pull the equity out and go put it on another building, I could do that. So it's like a bank account. It's not a bank account. You
every piece of real estate is money.
Right.
People know that.
And I tell people all the time, they be like, I got 20 chains. I'm like, we got 50 buildings. Like, what we talking about? You know what I'm saying? I ain't even trying to be funny. It's like I'd rather sit in a room and be like, yo, you own that? Yeah. When people come to my compound, they look around. I'm like, yeah, we own this, that. They just like, really?
Do people know that Jeezy's their landlord?
Yeah, I got a couple people that know.
Okay, because I'd be like, look.
Yeah, I got a couple people that know, and sometimes it get a little tricky.
Right,
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
It get a little tricky. You know
but I was gonna say because I've experienced this, and I actually try to keep a lot of the stuff that I've invested in on the low,
right?
Because especially like restaurants and stuff like that,
yeah,
because then everybody's now calling you for the hookup,
right?
And you can't operate a business on a hookup.
Not even that.
The
Not
Toys
even that.
R Us hookup.
I had a high-end steakhouse in Atlanta in the shops of Buckhead. It was called American Cut, and probably one of the nicest steakhouses there. 3 stories, beautiful, and it was like my best kept secret. I remember Nas was on tour. He stopped by. He was like, "Yo, you own this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is crazy." So we sitting there, but it's all classy.
Right.
Man, the minute I went on radio one day and it was like, I own this American Cut, I went back there, you would have thought it was Freaknik.
They was in there.
The whole thing, it started going down. You go in there to eat, you see a cat you used to hustle with, I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, Jesus said I could be up here.
Right.
Goddamn, bring one of them goddamn steaks.
Hey, they upstairs, they try to smoke weed. I'm like, well, my man, you can't. I'm like, what we doing?
That is hilarious.
Yeah, you know why it costs? I mean, you ordered the Wagyu, baby.
Yeah.
What we gonna do?
They Instagram Jeezy, why this steak cost so goddamn much?
All the things well done.
But I mean, again, it's elevation, man.
Yeah,
and even when it comes to business, and like to me, like I'm so excited about Adversity for Sale because I mean, I feel like this is probably the first of many, right? Like, cause
Yes.
I want the thug motivation. I want the real
Yes.
estate tips. I see you speak of the names like the John T. Maxwell's and the T.D. Jakes and the Tony Robbins, but you're that too. You've been that.
Right.
You're that for the hood.
Right.
And you live that even with the Thug Motivation 1 and 2. Like, I
Right.
think you know that you've motivated and inspired so many as a motivational speaker.
Well, what I started to understand too is just like even for me, is very therapeutic when you're writing and you're because in songs you only got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You got to tell a story or you got to make it make sense. In a book, it's like you're journaling. Because a lot of these things, because I was so good at putting, that's why I said Adversity for Sale. It's like, this is all the stuff I went through. I'm going to sell it to you because this is going to help you get out of whatever jam you in, right? But you just got to believe, though, right? Because for me, it's like I was so good at putting stuff in the back of my head. Like any type of trauma or whatever I went through, and it was just all stacked up because I never dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? So at one point, like between TM 101 up into the recession, I was in a big state of depression. I didn't even know what depression was.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
drinking, I'm self-soothing, I'm doing all these things. But the minute I started getting out of my comfort zone and started to understand, okay, these are traumas that I got to deal with this. I got to figure this out. I got to get therapy. I got to whatever I got to do. I got to talk to somebody. I got to just understand. And it just started to take these loads off my back. And I started just to understand that like you can work on yourself and fix yourself. And that's why the book is so special because it was therapy for me. And actually I did the audio book as well. I read it myself. And even when I was reading the words, I was just like, damn, like, bro, you got through that.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was like, it's over. You know, I lost my, like, imagine this. You 1 foot in, 1 foot out the streets, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to figure it out. You see some success on the other side. Somebody leaks your album 2 months before it comes out. And then you lose your entire voice.
Yeah.
Then you have to go in and have a surgery, and everybody's scared you're not going to sound the same again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I tore my vocal cords. So imagine all that happening at one time. You know what I'm saying? And you just in it. And it's just like, what happens next? And by the way, it was so many cats that owed me money in the streets that I turned my back on because I'm like, I don't want to even touch the paper because I don't want to go to jail. So I'm just going to go do this.
Right.
Now, this might not even work.
Yeah.
So now I got to get my bat phone back out and get the call. Like, I need
Remember
that.
that paper you owe.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, I always know that everybody goes through some points in life where they think it's done, it's over. And even as a successful man, I had to realize they're still going to treat me a certain way. I mean, I talk about that in the book as well, like what happened on the road with Wiz Khalifa when I got locked up in L.A. and had to go through all that, and how Farrakhan was calling me and trying to warn me, like, brother, the enemy is after you. I'm like, my enemies are in my neighborhood. They're not coming to this show. And he was right. The police showed up. They locked us up. It was a whole thing. Right? And
I remember that. That was everywhere.
Right. And I did everything right that time. This is the first time in my life I probably didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Right? So now I'm sitting there, I'm trying to convince my lawyer, like, no, man, I didn't do anything.
Right.
And
It's just my name. My name is big. My brand may have caused this.
And
but
I was
didn't
probably
know.
the only guy on the tour that seemed like he probably could have did that.
Right.
And when it was all said and done, I just, I went through so much, just mentally, because now I got 10 people in jail with me. We all got $1 million bond. That's $10 million.
Right.
Right. And I got to pay it.
Right.
Right. And then my team are coming to get me, to get me out. And I'm going, I can't leave these people in LA in jail.
Right.
While we figure this out. So I'm going to sit here with them.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to tell y'all how to touch my money. So I got to figure this out another way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Probably one of my first unselfish moments ever. And I remember like yesterday when I got out, I finally got out. The first call I got when I got in the car was Farrakhan. Brother Jeezy. I told you they was coming. You need to come see me. And I flew down to Chicago and hung out with him. But these are things where, and that's what's so great about adversity. It's just like, it's like going to the gym. You know this, like you're not gonna build muscle unless you break it down. You have to break it. And like they say, you never seen a skilled sailor that sail calm seas. Like you gotta go through these things. And people look at like loss as a bad thing. it's so much data in losing.
You can't appreciate the good
you gotta
until you've had the
appreciate
bad.
it. Right. And it's like, it's so much data there. And I have to look at every time I have a loss and I go, okay, what can I do different? Or what should I do different? Who should I talk to? And that's what keeps me going. And that's why I wanted to sell adversity, because I believe that if you just sold success, you know, look how successful you are. But imagine how many times you went through some things that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you could sell the success. But somebody's going to run into some of the roadblocks that you went through, and they're going to have to call you or DM you and say, yo, Nick, I'm in this mind. Who should I talk to?
Yeah.
Right? And that's the most valuable information, because you can tell anybody how to be successful. You know what I'm saying? That sounds good. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's not the end all be all. Right?
Yeah.
And if you're successful more than you lose, you might want to be a little concerned.
Right,
Because when you really lose, and I call it a mental GPS, you got to know how to get back to where you just left from. Because if you don't know that, you know, that's why I always pride myself on, I ain't never went to another man or anybody with my hand out. My mom taught me that at a young age.
Wow.
You know, if you go, you going to give somebody something. You don't never go with your hand out, right? So nobody has ever given me anything, right? Which is probably why I look at it the way I look at it. However, I know that if I ever lost it all, I'm going to get it back triple.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go 3 times harder than I did to get it the first time. And I understand that, you know what I'm saying? And whatever losses come with that, I'm going to accept them, because that's what's going to teach me to stay where I'm at. Because it's one thing to get it, but you got to keep it.
Yeah. That's how long can you have it? Yeah.
That's what they say. They who the strongest is who stay out the longest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Right.
Hey, Jeezy got all the game.
No, I know a little bit about a lot. I'll tell you that.
Talk that talk. Adversity for sale, man.
August 8th in stores. Everywhere books are sold. You can pre-order it now. Everywhere books are sold. Like I said, I did the audio book as well, so you hear your boy's voice. Yeah. You can pre-order now. And I'm very, very proud of this body of work, and I hope that it helps, you know, somebody.
Nah,
you know
it
what I'm
will.
saying?
It will.
And
I think it's the authenticity, man, because we all seen it. Like I'm pretty sure everything in there is relatable because we watched you grow.
Right.
And to see that, especially for a black man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's usually a ceiling. And especially for entertainers.
Yes.
And they only want to see you in the mold that we saw you show up.
Right.
And the fact that you've broken the mold.
Right.
And still successful. Because a lot of people break the mold and then they start, you know, they call them corny or they call them, you know, oh, nah, he ain't the same. But you walking this walk well.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even in this space of publishing and books and motivating others, like you could tell you're gonna excel in that space.
Yeah.
So man, much
Appreciate
that. So what is next? Like, are we gonna see we saw you in Janky Promoters? I mean, are we gonna see Jeezy the actor?
Well, yeah. So actually, I got a movie that's coming out end of the year called Trap City. I did the soundtrack. I produced on it, and I actually did the score.
Wow!
For it, and I play a
congrats.
And I play a hood preacher. Imagine that.
Oh wow!
So you see me with the whole.
That's crazy. Jeezy preaching.
Yeah. Now, and by the way, this is the craziest thing ever. So, when it was time for me to get in character. I called TD Jakes a few times, and I went and watched a couple of his sermons, and I just went in there and just blacked out. So if you see me, I'm going.
TD Jakes.
If you see me, I'm going a little harder there. It might sound like you know what I mean, like
TD Jeezy.
Yeah, there you go.
We going. I can't wait to see. I mean, you got so much. So I mean, with the book, are you doing a book tour, like public speaking?
Yes, public speaking, and that's another space I've been. Getting
you got
comfortable
it.
with. Yeah, because it's dope, man. Like you just want to, you know, my motto was, you know, live full, die empty. Like whatever knowledge I got, I just want to give it away because
put it all out
that's
there.
that's my value. That's what I have. Like I don't, you know, you look at the plaques, that's materialistic. But if you sit down and we having a great conversation, I might tell you something that you need to know. Just like when I sit down with people and they tell me something, I go, I never thought about that. 1031, huh?
Yeah.
Save money on my taxes.
Right.
Okay.
I was with Mike Tyson yesterday, and I was like, he done it all.
Right.
And I asked him, I was like, Mike, when you done it all, what's next? What do you do? Why keep going? He was like, because you got to teach.
Yes. It's your obligation.
Wow.
It's you're obligated to teach. That's your gift.
Yeah.
That's your thing. You got to understand how many young moguls are watching you do what you're doing. it's unorthodox, bro. You don't see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see like you're trailblazing.
Yeah.
Right. So people don't get a chance to see that. So the next guy, he got to go even farther.
Yeah.
But in order for him to do that, he got to be able to get your knowledge from somewhere. So if you sit down and you're having these conversations, they're taking notes.
Yeah.
Because there's never been a room I've been in. I might not act like I'm listening, but as soon as I get by myself, I'm Googling shit. I'm putting my notes in my phone. I'm like, yo, I got to remember that. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what helps you, because it's all about information. It's all about information. If the more information you have on something that you're passionate about, the more successful you're going to be. But you're obligated when you become successful to share that information and the information that you learn, because that's what it's all about. Yes. You can't give nobody money. I've been learned that. You give money, they coming back for some more money. You know what I'm saying? You can put them up and get them cars and houses, and when that shit get old, they coming back again. But if you get somebody information, and you align them with that information, and you get them to understand, like, this is the real wealth. Like, if I didn't have $1, I know that you can put me in any room, and I'm gonna be that guy.
True equity.
You know what I'm saying? That real equity.
Life.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Equity. Ladies, do you all have any questions for Jeezy?
I like how you said that.
Okay, so you're in real estate. Do you do anything in Detroit? Because Detroit is like.
Yeah, actually, we just had that conversation. We're gonna come out there and we're gonna try to get a couple city blocks in Detroit.
That's amazing. Not just I would love that.
Not just to have, but to renovate. And put them back up so that the community can have.
Because they gentrifying it, and it's gentrification. It has its place, right? But a lot of it is white people coming in. No offense to my white friends, coming in.
Did you see? Did you see her wave? It's like that would be me.
They're coming in. They're buying it up. They're buying it up. So everybody's calling me like, come buy property, and I'm like,
nah,
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
But there's things in place that you can go get some of those properties for something you wouldn't believe.
Yo,
you can probably put down the least money you expect, and you don't have to buy a lot.
Even with your brand and name and what you building, the nonprofits and all that. It's funny. Like a few years back, not too long ago, I went out there to the D with Dan Gilbert, and we was in the area downtown. I mean, it was sad because of where it was. It's elevated since then, but it was skyscrapers for like $2-3 million.
Yeah.
Like
what's
the whole skyscraper?
$2-3 million isn't really in mind.
I forget.
But I mean, those buildings cost hundreds of millions of dollars now.
I get what you're saying.
But there's a guy, I forget his name, they went and bought all that stuff.
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert.
Yeah, that's how I went to ML with him. He owns the Cavaliers. He owns he
bought it when it was low.
He was like, you want to get one of these, Nick?
You should have called me, man.
That's the TurboTax guy.
You should have called me.
I'm telling you, he was getting them off.
Yeah.
And his son owns StockX, the shoe.
Really?
Yeah. Dan Gilbert get to that bag.
They got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He get to that bag.
I love to see black people buying up Detroit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's such a black city.
It's Motown.
We on our way. We on our way, definitely. I'm definitely.
But also, okay, you said you do hobbies.
Yeah, I got a few.
I think that's interesting. Hobbies. Like, what are your hobbies? I mean, Jeezy with hobbies is different than the Jeezy I know.
I'm gonna be honest. So
calligraphy.
I have no idea what that is.
Exactly.
It's fancy, right?
Sounds like a Rubik's cube or some shit. I don't know. Well. So it's crazy because when I was younger, my aunts used to take me fishing all the time. Right. So I just. And they say to make yourself happy, go back and do the things you used to do as a child that made you happy. I take it to another level. So now I go deep sea fishing,
on the
stuff
boat
like that. But it's just like it's cool because you with your
relax
guys
out there in the ocean.
You know what I'm saying? You're in the ocean, you vibing, you got your music. It's a fellowship. And that brings me a lot of peace. And then another thing I love is boxing. Like I box at least 5-6 times a week. But it's a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? It's hand or eye. Coordination, right? Yeah. But it also keeps you sharp, right? And the thing I got on a little bit lately that I love, and this is gonna trip you out, is golf.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Jeezy,
I was like, yo, I know
swear to
he
God.
be wearing khakis now.
Oh man, listen, I got the outfits. I'm gonna look like it. I got the golf.
You got the white glove?
Yeah, I got a white one, the black one, the blue one. Like I'm ready.
It's official.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
That's what's up.
But it's cool though.
This is our hip hop golfer right here.
He's a golf guy.
Because when you go out there, you got your music, you got your cigars, you got your nod. You got your drink,
it's
and
quiet.
it's a vibe. But also, when you go do 18 holes with somebody, you get to know them.
Yeah.
So if there's business to be done,
I was about to say it's a business thing.
Yeah,
I just want to drive the cart.
That's cool too, but you gotta be careful because
Get a little hilly.
Yeah. Some people can't,
They can't drive.
It's official. Jeezy is a businessman.
Right.
He's out there golfing, cutting deals on the 9th hole.
Yeah.
We love to see it. Well, you know what, man? You've given us so much game, so many gems this morning. We do this with each and every person that sits in that seat, but I know you're gonna ace this. It's not even a game or a contest, but we put 30 seconds on the clock, and you just give us some life lessons. All you got to do is fill in the blanks with some game or whatever's on your heart. There's no right or wrong way to answer these life lessons. We got 30 seconds on the clock. I'm my best when I'm
focused.
I learned to never
give up.
I thank my mother for teaching me how to
stay strong.
I always regret not
doing the most I could do.
I want to be remembered for
being a stand-up guy.
Oh, he's just running through these. This one you could take your time on this one. My favorite quote or lyric is,
if you can hold it in your hand, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hands.
I like that.
Shout out to Bob Proctor.
Yeah, for real. All right, my best quality is?
My best quality, I would say, is integrity.
Oh, okay. All right. My worst quality is?
Loyalty.
Oh, all right.
I'm too loyal by default. Yeah, it puts
double-edged sword.
Puts me in some jams sometimes.
Yeah, that'll get you every time.
Right.
All right. When I'm excited, I grab my.
Oh, you said grab my. I
grab my blank.
When I'm excited, I grab my cigar and my cognac, and I just chill. Like that's my yeah.
There it is. All right. I would say blank helps me stay strong.
Faith.
I always keep a blank on me.
I always keep a cigar in my bag.
There it is. So have we elevated from Kush to cigar?
Oh yeah. No more weed, bro. I'm
really?
Because it had me in my head.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I'm around people that can smoke and
yeah.
Shout out to my boy Westside Blue. He's like a functional smoker.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if I smoke, I'm gonna be hiding in my hotel room somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has me in my head, and I again, because I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff that I'm starting to unpack.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to get in
those
the space.
Traumas, you still working through
I gotta
it.
be in control,
Yeah. See, to me, like I tried this cigar thing.
Right.
And it's just like the taste. Like I know you look boss with it.
Right.
Like when you're in a club with the cigars, like okay, that's a move, especially if the drip is right.
Right.
But it's something about weed that just puts you in a very like, all right, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Like I get like angst when I have a cigar, and then it just the taste.
What kind? But you got to be smoking the right kind.
The Cohibas is
nah, you got to. I'm
you gonna put me up on it?
Yeah, I got you.
Jeezy is putting me up
I'm
on.
saying her like,
oh no, listen, I'm the cigar.
I got the humidor.
I got you.
I never got it. I want it looked gangster.
It looks nice when I see men do it.
Yeah, but I like. Yeah, how you coughing?
I'm always impressed. I'm like, oh, he got a real job.
Yeah, because one thing they equated with is one thing I learned is watches.
Yeah,
the right watch means you got time.
Yeah,
the right cigar means you have time. The right bottle of wine means you have time. And everybody that I've built with either been on one of those three things. It's like, that's a nice watch you got on. Oh wow, so that's a conversation. Oh, hey, what do you know about this wine? Oh, that's my favorite. And you get into those conversations. Then cigars. I'm the guy. I'm the plug.
Hey, you know what type of time he on. That's
right.
All right, well, we keep it going. We get back to it. All right, when I'm alone and no one is watching, I often
read. Yeah, I often read. Like I just, whether it's audio book or podcast, or be grabbing the book.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
weird
real.
when you're sitting around holding the book and people like, yo, Jeezy, what up? You're like, damn.
Yeah, you done interrupted the lesson that I was in.
Damn.
You know me, I'm 2 books a week. I've been that way for years.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah, you got to get to it.
You got to get to it.
And then, all right, I wish the OGs would have told me that.
I wish the OGs would have told me sooner that I was enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I spent a lot of my time trying to be loyal and impress the people that I respected, and that just put me in a lot of bad situations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm most relaxed after
I'm most relaxed after I spend time with my family, for sure.
Right. Speaking of, my nickname for my family is
the Jenkins.
Jenkins, we love it. And the world needs more
admiration. No, I'm sorry, empathy. I'm sorry.
empathy.
Empathy. Yes.
Yeah.
1000%.
The world needs more empathy. And man, Adversity for Sale.
August 8th, anywhere books are sold. You can
Pre-order,
get your
and this
copy.
is why he's telling you to pre-order it now, because
pre-order it now.
to be on the bestsellers list,
Yes.
you can debut on there.
Right.
So this is the time we got to support Jeezy in a big way.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go to my
Go to my Amazon.
to my Amazon books right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it on Audible,
Yeah.
and I'm clicking it right now. That pre-order. So
Yes,
when it
sir.
drop. And I want everybody in the chat. Let's go ahead and support Jeezy. So we could put best-selling author,
Right.
New York Times best-selling
Right,
author next
right.
to all his other accolades, brother.
For
man,
sure.
we appreciate you coming in here, sharing
Appreciate
all of
y'all
this.
for having me, man.
Yeah, so much game, so much
For
wealth.
sure.
Ladies, any last words for Jeezy?
Thank you.
I wanted to compliment you on your pink tuxedo that you wore.
Oh, yeah. I
it was
picked that out myself.
Okay,
Thank
I was
you.
wondering if you
Yeah,
picked it
yeah,
out
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. You see, I got mine. I just ordered the book. I mean,
Me too.
Not my
I
pink
got it.
tuxedo.
I got it on
but-
Audible.
Thank you.
So happy to meet you. So happy to meet you.
Yeah, so that's a
Like
some
what?
married man over there, Courtney. Relax.
I know he just made my day. He made my month, my
There
life.
it is.
There it
Can't
is.
believe it.
So much love. We rocked all the way to the end of the show, so we're going to holler at y'all on Monday. Make sure you have a safe weekend. And love and light to everybody out there, all our daily fans. This is the Daily Cannon. Jeezy in the building,
Yes,
y'all.
sir. Yes,
Bye,
sir.
y'all. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Yes, sir.